You already know that Elon Musk spent a whole load of money getting Donald Trump elected, but you may have no idea just how much it is, or some of the even more dishonest ways than you already know about that he spent that money. And so we knew he put $119 million behind Trump's bid, just putting it into his super PACs. And I want everyone to remember that when the original plan was leaked that he was gonna spend all the money, he came out and he was like, no, obviously I'm not gonna do that. And then he spent way more than the original plan had implied. So he's a fundamentally dishonest man. But also, he apparently spent $20 million on a super PAC pushing a very particular lie. So this group was called the RBG PAC. And it ran ads claiming that Donald Trump would not support a federal abortion ban, and that he has actually the exact same position on abortion as former Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, which I should hope it's obvious he does not. So the group formed and began spending money very close to Election Day. It was actually registered on October 16th, less than 1 month ago before Election Day. And in that time, it raised $0, which, obviously, you lefties watching this, you weren't gonna donate it to, but theoretically, maybe some Republicans would have wanted to be involved because they like this scam that was being run on the American people. But to be clear, your contributions and voice will not be needed anymore. They have the world's richest man. They don't need you. They're not interested in what you want or what you have to say. And so instead, Elon Musk just put $20 million into it. They ran a bunch of digital ads, mailers, text messages, $500,000 just on October 29th alone, telling a whole bunch of lies about Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Donald Trump. On their website, they claimed again that they had the same view, saying, why did Ruth Bader Ginsburg agree with Donald Trump's position on abortion? Because RBG believed that the federal government shouldn't dictate our abortion laws. Donald Trump also does not support a federal ban on abortion. On this issue, great minds think alike, which no, they did not. Also, it isn't a great mind. You shouldn't need to be told this. And so that's another $20 million. Apparently, there's been more disclosures today, Brett. It is now estimated that he spent just around, so far that we know, $250 million in one election, not entirely just on the presidential level, but almost entirely on the presidential level, $250 million. That is nothing to him. He can do that in every election for the rest of our lives if he wants, and not just here. He's apparently getting involved in the UK's election as well. So this seems like a bad thing to me, and these numbers seem like the warning shot necessary to get people to take campaign finance seriously. But what do you make of this?
I mean, it is so terrifying how easily he's able to trick millions and millions of people in all kinds of ways. He has tricked people into thinking that he's this American patriot, right? When he is just a barbarian at the gate. He is just the guy that's doing whatever it takes to make more money and make himself more powerful, which is hilarious because one of the arguments against the Democrats this go around, and I'm not defending them, I'm just saying what the argument was, is that they're now the party of billionaires. We don't like the billionaires in big tech, basically doing everything in their power to enrich themselves and minimize true democratic discourse. And that is exactly what Elon Musk is and does. He just bought a major, like probably the most crucial media discourse apparatus because of its interactivity. And he forced, Russell Brand down my throat. Like I keep getting Russell Brand tweets when I'm saying I don't want Russell Brand tweets. And he's doing this. This is the other thing. He is doing exactly the type of stuff that they yelled at Mark Zuckerberg for doing and pretended he was like this left-wing darling. He is making up fake PACs. He's saying that there's not he wants there to be discourse and going back and forth. And it makes sense on a surface level, being like, listen, I'm for freedom of speech. You say something, I'll argue against it. But the difference is all those things about money and politics that make mainstream media, in their opinion, so dangerous, that's still at play here on X. He just has more money. So he is able to do the exact same stuff that you are criticizing other major players you don't like for doing. But the problem is he's doing stuff that you don't like.
Yeah.
That's his
No.
agenda, is to enrich himself. And it's terrifying that he's that close to the White House, and he has so much money, he can get that close to the Kremlin, that close to Downing Street, that close to anyone that he invests enough money to put in power.
100%. I don't know how people don't get like almost any of this. I saw someone saying that, the mainstream media has done nothing to push back against the branding of him, which I think is mostly true. I think that they just uncritically accepted the idea that like he calls himself a genius, so I guess he must be a genius. He bought a company where good engineers and coders work, so I guess he's a genius. And I would agree. I don't think they've done nearly enough, and they should. I will say, I feel like I've tried for years now. I feel like I've been pushing back against this myth and this cult for a long time. Maybe with his explicit involvement in the election, people will start to understand what a partisan actor he is, but there's still a lot of learning to be done.